How much do you prioritize your sleep? Sleep, we all know it's important. Some people may think it's overrated. I went decades of only getting 3 to 5 hours a night, and actually, I probably still do. My sleep patterns throughout the decades have been really different, and that comes from having a baby at 16. And even before then, as a teenager, I would stay up at night reading books till 3 a.m. or waking up at 5 a.m. to do my hair and makeup before junior high. Like, sleep has been a very interesting concept for me, especially when it comes to dreams. And some people don't even have dreams. Some people have dreams that they will wake up and act and think that they are real. Some people sleepwalk. Some people obsess over their sleep, yet that obsessiveness actually prevents them from getting good sleep. Sleep is key to our body's regenerative system. Sleep is key for our brains to kind of they say dreaming is fizzling out all the electrical leftovers from the day. But ultimately, sleep, I'm still figuring it out. Truly. Like, I've had bad nightmares, and there's certain things I've noticed made them worse and made them better, and then I adjust, and then I try to repeat that experiment, and it totally changes. So the biggest thing, though, that I would say if you're looking for deep sleep, deep healing sleep, is get a routine. If there's anything I've noticed from babies to animals to humans, is routine helps calm the nervous system. You want to be able to signal to the body that it's going to be time to rest and repair. And so pay attention to your habits as it comes up to nighttime. How much screen time are you doing? Are you doing anything with your physical body to release any excess energy? Are you doing anything with your brain to release excess things in there? And are you filling your brain with TV? Some people think TV is kind of like a zone out, but I guarantee you it is not a zone out. It is putting information in your brain that is going to stay in your brain and affect your subconscious as you go to sleep. So, the number one tip for sleep right now is find routine while also checking your habit of screen time. See how those are. If those are great, then dive deeper. But if you don't have those two in check, no reason to dive deeper. Those are your foundation. I'm Deb. I like to share my human experience, help others gain confidence in their human experience. Make sure you like, click, and subscribe. I did that really fast because the 3 minute mark is for shorts. So I like to sometimes cut that first part into a short. But yes, I am Deb. I do share human experiences. Topics are random. Edits. I don't do edits mostly because I don't have the technology or time. I mean, I would have the skill, if I practice and making. Who doesn't love to create? Who doesn't love to make videos and take something and turn it into something else? Like, that is amazing and fun. But sleep is a thing. there, I didn't realize how much sleep was a thing. As a child, sure, whatever, I took naps when I wanted to take a nap, and I went to bed when I wanted to go to bed, and I woke up when I wanted to wake up. And a lot of the times that caused problems when it was time to go to school. But also, I was really grateful to get pregnant at 16, and then I could wake up whenever I wanted to wake up until the baby was born. Or morning sickness. Okay, so I guess that's not even a real thing. I guess I just mean I moved out of my parents' house and didn't have to go to school once I became pregnant. Back to the subject. There were years. Make sure my microphone's still turned on. There's so many videos I've recorded and the microphone hasn't been on. Through my 20s, first half of the 20s and late teens, I drank and did drugs and didn't really focus on fitness much. Once I started focusing on fitness much, sleep became much more of a thing. It still really wasn't because then I had another baby. And so it wasn't really until probably age 27 ish when I moved to Moab and my partner started to note, he's like, you fall asleep whenever you have a chance to fall asleep. And he noticed that my energy had a certain thing, like when we first started dating. He's like, your energy switched into a feeling of safety. He said, when I was conscious, I was still on guard, still had walls, and just like, of course, when someone's sleeping, their guard is down. But like, I knew what he meant because I had spent so many years with partners that were also into drugs and alcohol or insomnia. And just, you have drugs and alcohol, you're going to have toxicity, you're going to have violence on both ends of the table. So it's like, that was just a given, not to badmouth them. We were all much younger, right? Okay, so I haven't talked to either of them in years. I have no idea what they're like now. Back to the subject, sleep. And I got into my fitness era, and sleep became very important. I made sure I was getting like 8 to 9 hours of sleep because I was going to the gym 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, minimum 2 hours a day, 6 days a week, on top of running a family and working and trying to do everything that a woman is supposed to do. Life is, I'm superwoman. All right. I've done a lot. Plus, having one, my kids were in 2 different cities. One's 5 hours away. I would drive 5 hours to watch a 1 hour dance recital and drive back. Not all the time, but there were certain ones I would do that for. And there were times I would sacrifice sleep for driving, for traveling. Sleep is important. And then there came times where nightmares started getting really bad. And I couldn't figure out how to deal with that. Like, I would wake up crying and things, and then people around me I've seen also have same experiences. And there came a time where I started turning on YouTube affirmations for safety. I had fallen, I mean, there are other subjects that I had done for sleeping, or just subjects in general, for love, for confidence, for abundance, for money. But the real change for me happened when I did affirmations for safety. And when I started doing those, it was actually after a time frame where I had, before this time frame, I would not have been able to tell you what trauma was, what it felt like in the body, what it does to the psyche, how it changes a person's outlook on life, how it changes the way their brain literally functions. Before this experience, I wouldn't have been able to tell you all that. And then I had this experience, and then my body became physically ill and painful, and I learned that it was my nervous system through experiencing trauma. And then the safety affirmations came up, and that really was the starting point for healing. I had tried so many other different things up to that point, but when I started intentionally telling myself it was okay to be safe and working with that foundation, that's when my sleep started getting a lot better, a lot more regular. And pay attention when you're tired, especially depending if you're like an empath or a human design projector, you're going to be more tired more often. If you're a sensitive person, maybe even autistic, you're going to be more tired more often. There's energies constantly bombarding us. And then if you're in the city, I don't know how many videos you've watched or how well you know me. I do not live in a city. When I travel to a city, I can instantly feel the difference of the energy. Even in the small city that I live in, when I can drive, let's say 10, 15 minutes in any direction and lose cell phone service. And that's even a stretch. It's like 5 minutes. You drive 5 to 10 minutes in any direction and you lose cell phone service. And I can instantly feel that difference in my body of not having Wi-Fi signals going through my body, not having the cell signals going through your body, not having the noise and clutter of the world in the space of your aura. When you go out into the desert and it is space, you feel that space. When you get away from man-made objects, you feel your energy. You feel the energy of earth. You feel the energy of God. And that is why nature is important. That's why recognizing the information, the unseen, is important. And I'm not sure what the solution is to large scale cities, but I know it is not the future of humans. I have seen plans that the powers and be have for us to have like smart cities and even bigger whatever cities, but like that's not the way. I see the way that this small town and other small towns that I've lived in have operate, and that's the way. And life is different because you don't have those things in the city that the city offers, but it's such a different energy. For you people that are in the city, I implore you to find as much nature as possible, to just feel the stillness that is the energy without man made things, without the man made wavelengths, or like the information in the wavelengths. Like, all like this video is getting to you through a wavelength, right? And those affect the body. So when we lay down to bed at night, have a routine to move your body, get the energy out. Find a way to settle down your mind, whether that's journaling or listening to calm music, no words music. I do not suggest reading a book. I do not suggest watching TV. Maybe reading a book depending on what the subject is, but it's still your brain is still having to focus. Your brain is still absorbing information, and that's not what we're trying to do when we're going to bed. We're trying to tell our brains to rest. So we're trying to just listen to some nice meditative music. Maybe draw if you're a drawer. If you're a dancer, maybe dance. Whatever your hobby is. Sometimes I like to do shibari or yoga before bedtime. And those are things that just kind of help allow the brain to flow into the body. And I kill two birds with one stone. I don't like that saying, kill. Ew, I don't want to say that. And I complete two tasks. I complete two goals with one task. But it's important to do that to mellow out the energy. And then as we do that, we can pay attention to our dreams. Tell yourself it is your intention to remember your dreams and the emotions that you carry in those dreams upon waking. And then keep a notepad and pen, or maybe even just your camera by your bed if you do better with voice notes or video notes compared to journaling. But just have something so that the moment you wake up, you can get the information out. Don't wait, because it will go away. Sometimes even opening your eyes makes things go away. Like if you can maybe do a voice note before you even open your eyes, but like really play it back in your head and pay attention when it comes to dreams. It's not so much as the dream of what's happening, but pay attention to the emotions that are in the dream. Pay attention to the energy, the energetic theme that is within the dream. And that's where you're going to find your answers. That's where you're going to be able to dive deeper into your sleep. I know some people have those watches that give them their REM sleep or all those things and tell them things. And from my cheap Amazon watch, it did me no good. I've seen someone have, it's like a $1,500 watch, and I think it caused more harm to his sleep because he was more focused on what the watch was telling him than what his body was telling him, or what his brain was telling him, what his energy and emotions was telling him. And I think there were underlying stresses that he didn't want to admit, and all the blame was on the watch. Oh, I didn't get good sleep because the watch is telling me I didn't get good sleep. Yes, but like, why didn't you get good sleep? Let's dive deeper into those things. And yeah, all right. So I'm actually going to wrap this up. Tips for deep healing and deep sleep. Get a routine. Move your body. Clear your mind. Get a routine. No TV. No screen time. No reading. Clear the mind. And if it feels called to you, look up some YouTube affirmations on safety or another subject that maybe feels called to you. So my name's Deb. Like the video if you like it. Comment about anything that resonated with you. And subscribe if you would like to join me for more videos. because content's only going to get better. I'm only going to get better at what I'm sharing, how I'm sharing it, more streamlined, less scatterbrained. But actually, the whole scatterbrained is kind of the thing. It's a lot of this is just channeling energy, saying it as it comes through. Sometimes it's nothing like I don't feel these videos are me, but they are me. But it's also us of what you need to hear. I start these videos off with energy that I'm feeling, and then the flow comes from there. So if you've made it through this far, this energy is for you. You can take confirmation on that. Have a blessed day. My name's Deb, sharing my human experience to help you gain confidence in your human experience. And we're here to usher in a new earth, a new paradigm, understanding how this world really works, and putting ourselves at the top of the game. Join me for it because it's going to be a beautiful journey. Cheers.